Hi there, you're watching Nightline with me, Liyana Hassanel. News making the headlines. Malaysia, Indonesia strengthen strategic cooperation. Friendship ties enhanced. And bodies of all 5 regatta tragedy victims found. Good morning. Indonesia's Prabowo Subianto was sworn in on Sunday as president of the world's 3rd largest democracy, vowing to combat internal issues such as corruption that plague the country and to make it more self-sufficient. The 73-year-old former defense minister took the oath at Parliament to officially succeed outgoing leader Joko Widodo. In his inaugural speech, the country's 8th president vowed to eradicate corruption and make Indonesia more self-sufficient. He also affirmed his commitment to serve all Indonesians and challenged the nation to help him deal with the country's problems.
Kita harus berani menghadapi dan memberantas korupsi dengan perbaikan sistem, dengan penegakan hukum yang tegas, dengan digitalisasi. Insya Allah kita akan kurangi korupsi secara signifikan. Tapi ini harus kita lakukan. Seluruh unsur pimpinan harus memberi contoh.
He was joined in the swearing-in ceremony by his running mate, 37-year-old Gibran Rakabuming Raka, the eldest son of Widodo. Prabowo, facing allegations of rights abuses as a military commander, swept the elections in February to lead the country of 280 million people. Meanwhile, according to TV3 correspondent in Indonesia, Nadia Mohsin, after the inauguration ceremony, President Prabowo and Vice President Gibran were escorted by a group of supporters to the State Palace in Jakarta. Thousands of people flooded several locations along the Sudirman Tamrin area to celebrate the inauguration. Prabowo was escorted in a white SUV with the registration number Indonesia 1. It was an MV Garuda limousine, a locally made vehicle by PT Pindad, designed personally by Prabowo. 14 Pesta Rakyat entertainment stages were set up at key locations around Jakarta, allowing people to celebrate this occasion. The procession ended at the State Palace for a farewell ceremony with Indonesia's 7th president, Joko Widodo. Jokowi and his wife, Liyana, returned to their hometown in Solo, Indonesia, after 10 years of service. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim and Raja Permaisuri Agong Raja Zahir Sofia have extended their congratulations to Prabowo on his swearing-in as Indonesia's 8th president. The congratulatory message was shared through a special poster featuring a photograph of Sultan Ibrahim and Prabowo shaking hands, which was posted on Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar's Facebook page. Prabowo assumes the role of president in the world's 3rd largest democracy by population, following his success in the presidential election held on February 14th, in which he garnered 59% of the vote. A former general and minister of defense, he becomes the 3rd president with a military background, after President Suharto and President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono. The 73-year-old also makes history as Indonesia's oldest president at the time of taking office, surpassing the 3rd president, B.J. Habibie, who was inaugurated at the age of 61. In the meantime, Malaysia will continue to be a strategic partner to Indonesia, while strengthening the bonds of friendship between the two brotherly nations. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim expressed his confidence that the inauguration of President Prabowo will enhance collaboration with Malaysia and elevate the region's standing on the global stage.
Saya santai dengan dia di rumahnya, kami berdua bincang soal-soal dan ikhtiar untuk merapatkan kerjasama dua hala, dan kita dua-dua bertekad untuk meningkatkan bidang kerjasama dalam berbagai aspek dengan sebaik mungkin.
The bodies of all 5 individuals reported missing after their regatta boat capsized during a training session in the Sarawak River were found on Sunday. The 5 bodies were discovered in stages between 6:16 a.m. and 7:09 a.m. Rescuers discovered the first two bodies near the Sungai Sarawak barrage. The third body was found at 6:40 a.m., followed by the fourth body about 30 minutes later. The fifth body was located at 7:09 a.m. with the assistance of a police drone. The five participants were identified as 34-year-old Muhammad Iqmal Samail, 32-year-old Majuri Maharuf, 26-year-old Muhammad Afiq Ishamuddin Asari, 26-year-old Muhammad Khairul Bidin, and 23-year-old Muhammad Khairul Hisham Kasturi. The bodies of all five victims were handed over to the police before being sent to the Sarawak General Hospital for post-mortem. All five bodies were then handed over to their next of kin and were laid to rest in their hometowns. Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Tiong King Singh has urged hotel operators to adjust their check-in and check-out times to ensure that their guests get at least 23 hours of accommodation, acknowledging the hotel's lack of manpower, resulting in a slower turnover in preparing rooms. Tiong promised to negotiate with the Human Resources and Home Ministries to find a solution to the matter. The minister said 23-hour stays per night was a common practice abroad, with guests allowed to check in at 2 p.m. and check out the following day at 1 p.m., and does not affect the hygiene standards or quality of stay. He said he had advocated for this change during a recent meeting with Hotel Industry Association representatives in Parliament on October 17th. The minister said hotels may be concerned about costs and profits, but reminded that customer satisfaction is also critical. The issue of check-in and check-out times surfaced last month after a hotel guest took to social media to complain about only being allowed to check in at 4 p.m. and being told that check-out time was 11 a.m. About 20,000 offenders of certain categories may be qualified to undergo house arrest, pending a full screening process conducted by the government. Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said they involve first-time offenders who are not involved in serious violations or penalties. Saifuddin noted that offenders will have to pass through several layers of vetting, including having a good disciplinary record while in prison. This applies to those who have committed minor offences. Saifuddin added that the proposal to draft the bill was done following a serious congestion issue at 43 prisons throughout the country, which resulted in unconducive conditions. There are currently 82,000 inmates compared to the set capacity of 74,000, exceeding the limit by 11%. He pointed out that similar laws have been implemented in countries such as the United States, Germany, and Australia. On Friday, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said that the government would table a new act to enable inmates to carry out their prison sentence for certain offences at home as an alternative. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi assured MCA that issues surrounding University Tunku Abdul Rahman's UTAR tax exemption will be resolved. Zahid, who is also Barisan Nasional Chairman and UMNO President, said the continuation of matching grants for the Tunku Abdul Rahman University of Management and Technology, TAR UMT, which has been a government commitment since the institution's founding, will also be discussed.
Saya ingin memberitahu di persidangan MCA ini bahawa kerajaan telah bersetuju untuk memberikan pengecualian cukai kepada Yayasan Pendidikan UTA dan akan dilakukan sesuatu yang lebih baik selepas ini.
Zahid said this at the opening of the 75th MCA Annual General Meeting at Wisma MCA on Sunday. He also mentioned that efforts will be made to secure opportunities for TVET students to further their studies in China. Last Sunday, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim announced an 83 million ringgit tax exemption for UTAR, stating that the university needs time to separate its commercial business operations from its educational branch. Issues related to parking space at Complex Pasar Raja Bot, located at Jalan Raja Alang, Kuala Lumpur, will be given priority in addressing the concerns voiced by traders, alongside efforts to relocate their businesses to the new facility. Titiwangsa Member of Parliament Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani said the matter would be raised during a meeting with Kuala Lumpur City Hall, DBKL, next Friday. Johari, who is also Plantation and Commodities Minister, said the parking issue was raised due to the congestion occurring during the market's transition phase, which has reduced the number of visitors.
Di kawasan ini, prioriti untuk buat pembangunan ini lebih kepada kedai daripada parking. Sebenarnya kena buat parking dulu. Kalau tak ada parking, Kuala Lumpur ni macam mana orang nak datang kat pasar ni? Dan pasar ini lebih unik kerana dia berbilang mangsa. Dia bukan hanya satu kaum saja ni berbilang mangsa dalam pasar ni.
He said this when met by reporters after visiting the market complex on Sunday morning. Johari also suggested that the three traders' associations involved in managing the market should employ the services of the People's Volunteer Corps, or RELA, to facilitate traffic movement. Meanwhile, the Federal Territory Bumiputra Traders Association urged traders to move to the new complex.
Kita tak nak pasar baru yang dibina ini menjadi gajah putih seperti macam mana di Selayang. Di Selayang kita masukkan semua peniaga tetapi kita tak dapat kawal peniaga-peniaga yang ada di sekitar kawasan jalan, tepi-tepi jalan ni, termasuk Rohingya dan sebagainya peniaga.
It is understood that many traders at the Raja Bot Market, better known as Pasar Chowkit, are not yet ready to relocate due to concerns that their businesses will be affected by a lack of customers. Check by TV3 on Sunday found that the new market complex remains mostly deserted as traders continue to operate at their old locations. Johor police have busted 2 drug syndicates with the arrests of 6 people, including 2 women, aged between 17 to 44, in a series of raids across Johor Bahru last week. State Police Chief Datuk M. Kumar said that police also seized almost 3.7 million ringgit worth of drugs in the operation, including vape cartridges filled with illegal substances. Kumar explained that a man was detained in a parking lot of an apartment complex at 6:45 p.m. on Wednesday, while 2 others, believed to be a couple, were arrested in a follow-up raid at 4 a.m. on Thursday.
Kita tengok MO dalam kumpulan ni, Bangsa Puru ni dia baru sewa tau. Baru seminggu sewa. Tapi aktiviti ini kita dah kesan sejak 2 bulan kumpulan ni aktif. So MO kumpulan ini adalah mereka selalu berpindah. Dia ambil homestay, dia sewa 3 hingga seminggu.
In the raids, police seized 16.345 kilograms of suspected ecstasy powder, ketamine, shabu, 140 Aramin 5 pills, 294 ecstasy pills, cannabis, along with 330 milliliters of liquid drugs found in 10 vape cartridges and 5 vape refill bottles, estimated to be worth over 2.8 million ringgit. All 3 suspects, aged between 27 and 44, tested positive for drugs. Kumar added that police on Tuesday had dismantled another unrelated drug syndicate with the arrest of 3 suspects, including a woman aged 17 to 39. Police seized 5.025 kilograms of suspected ecstasy powder, ketamine, and 189 milliliters of liquid ecstasy worth over 870,000 ringgit. Urine tests revealed that the trio tested positive for drugs, and one of them had a prior drug-related criminal record. All 6 suspects from both operations are under a 7-day remand order until Tuesday to assist investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. Dozens killed in Israeli attack on northern Gaza's Beit Lahia. News from the foreign front when we return.
EH958, runway 14 right.
Clear to land, EH958.
Cabin crew, be seated for landing.
Thank you for choosing Fly FM.
It's a fly breakfast. See the 100 from the fly breakfast. Mat. Kita dah lambat ni, Mat. You need to speak English now. Bro, we're late, bro. It's okay. Let's go.
It's Ian and Hanif on the fly breakfast.
Dia nampak suspek menendang pintu bilik kemudian terus menikam.
Gara-gara cemburu, seorang remaja berusia 17 tahun cedera parah ditikam bertubi-tubi serta disimbah asid oleh seorang lelaki.
Saya sayang dia sampai akhir nyawa saya.
Salah satu ilmu yang kita ada dalam hutan, buah perah ni bila jadikan sebagai makanan, sebagai itiar hidup.
Buah perah ni zaman Jepun ada keistimewanya. Sebab kita bagi ke dia makan, dia adalah mabuk-mabuk. Lepas tu kalau kita nak hayun dia, kita hayun lah.
Cabaran kita sekarang untuk membiak kat sini lah. Secara teorinya bila betina tu bunting, anak dia lahir, ibu ni akan ajar anak dia. Kalau ibu tak ada skill memburu tu, macam mana dia ajar anak dia memburu?
Stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
The foreign news. At least 87 people were killed or are missing under the debris following an Israeli air attack in Beit Lahia in the northern Gaza Strip on Sunday, one of the highest casualty tolls in months. According to Gaza's health ministry, victims remain trapped under the rubble, which ambulance teams and civil emergency responders could not reach. It was reported that the overnight raid hit several houses and a multi-story residential building known as the Beit Lahia project. Rescue efforts have also been hampered by a communications blackout and road obstructions in the north of the enclave, where a 16-day Zionist military siege has cut off access to food, water, medicine, and essential services. Meanwhile, the Zionist regime claimed that its air force attacked Hezbollah's intelligence headquarters in Beirut on Sunday, as well as an underground workshop for the production of weapons. It also said that its fighter jets killed 3 Hezbollah commanders, but it was not clear if the 3 were killed in the attack on the headquarters or in separate actions. The regime later said about 70 projectiles fired from Lebanon crossed into Israel within a matter of minutes, and that it intercepted some of them. Meanwhile, Lebanon media reported that Zionist airstrikes targeted several South Beirut neighborhoods after the regime warned civilians to evacuate the stronghold of Lebanon's Hezbollah movement. In the southern U.S. state of Georgia, a dock walkway collapse killed at least 7 people and injured several others on Saturday as crowds gathered for a festival on an island. Authorities reported that the accident on Sapelo Island caused at least 20 people to fall into the Atlantic waters, prompting search and rescue efforts by the U.S. Coast Guard and other agencies. It added that 8 people were taken to hospitals, with at least 6 of them with critical injuries. The collapse happened as the island hosted a festival celebrating its tiny Gullah Geechee community. In the meantime, the Georgia Department of Natural Resources said the incident was under investigation. Hurricane Oscar is expected to reach Guantanamo or Holguin in Cuba later on Sunday, as authorities scrambled to restore power following a massive nationwide outage. According to forecasters, Oscar is currently located about 185.07 kilometers east-northeast of Guantanamo, Cuba, with maximum sustained winds of 130 kilometers per hour. The U.S. National Hurricane Center expects Oscar to weaken after making landfall on the northeastern coast of Cuba. However, it could still be a tropical storm when it moves north of Cuba late Monday and across the central Bahamas on Tuesday. Its president, Miguel Diaz-Canel, meanwhile, said that authorities in eastern Cuba are actively working to protect people ahead of Oscar's imminent arrival. National men's and women's doubles shuttlers emerged victorious at the Malaysia Super 100. Actions will follow right after this breather.
Nama aku Reza. Ini dunia aku. Apa pun dalam hidup kita, kena ada pendirian.
Cik ni siapa sebenarnya?
Maira.
Mana-mana kita pergi semua orang cari. Semua orang tangkap.
Aku ni bakal jadi suami Maira.
Awak bawa saya lari atau awak bawa keluar jenazah bakal isteri awak.
Salah satu ilmu yang kita ada dalam hutan, buah perah ni bila jadikan sebagai makanan, sebagai itiar hidup.
Buah perah ni zaman Jepun ada kemewahannya. Sebab kita bagi ke dia makan, dia adalah mabuk-mabuk. Lepas tu kalau kita nak hayun dia, kita hayun lah.
Cabaran kita sekarang untuk membiak dekat sini lah. Secara teorinya bila betina tu bunting, anak dia lahir, ibu ni akan ajar anak dia. Kalau ibu tak ada skill memburu tu, macam mana dia nak ajar anak dia memburu?
Stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
MHI sepanjang minggu. Analisis belanjawan 2025, strategi memacu ekonomi rakyat dan negara. Nampak remeh tapi tidur yang cukup penting untuk tubuh kekal sihat. Kenali ikan pemusnah, ancaman kepada habitat dan ekosistem hidupan sungai. Saman malu atau fitnah, fahami undang-undang kes libel di mahkamah. Juga penstrukturan semula hutang peribadi dalam soal wang. MHI Isnin hingga Jumaat di TV3 dan ditonton.
We're back with sports. Badminton, the 2024 Malaysia Super 100. National shuttlers enjoy World Tour win as both men's and women's doubles pairs claim victory in the finals. National men's doubles shuttlers Loh Hang Yee and Eng Chiang made amends for last year's disappointment as they defeated the American duo Ji Yi Chen and Presley Smith 19-21, 21-15, 21-12 after losing the first game. With this victory, the pair celebrated their maiden BWF Tour title of the year. Joining them were the national women's doubles pair Teo Mei Zing and Goh Pei Ki. The duo rose to the occasion in front of the home fans to beat Taiwan's Nicole Chan and Yang Chu-yun 22-20, 21-11. Mei Zing and Pei Ki won their first World Tour Super 100 title after early defeats since forming a partnership in June. This marked Pei Ki's first title, while Mei Zing last won in 2022 at the Super 300 Site Modi International. Football now, the German Bundesliga. Harry Kane ended his brief goal drought with a hat-trick to help Bayern Munich beat Stuttgart 4-0. After a scoreless first-half match, Kane stepped up and drilled home a long-range effort to put the hosts ahead in the 57th minute. The England captain doubled their lead on the hour mark when he struck from close range following a goal-mouth scramble. Bayern made it 3-0 after Kane secured his hat-trick 10 minutes from time, before substitute Kingsley Coman curled in Bayern's fourth in the 89th minute to seal a comfortable 4-0 victory. With the results, Manuel Neuer's side remain on top of the standings with 17 points, while Stuttgart are in 9th place. Still on football, Major League Soccer. Lionel Messi scored a stunning 11-minute hat-trick to help Inter Miami break the MLS record for the most points in a single season after defeating the New England Revolution 6-2 at home on Saturday. The visitors opened the scoring in the 2nd and 34th minutes, giving them a convincing 2-0 lead. However, Luis Suarez quickly leveled things by scoring a brace in just 3 minutes to close out the half. After the break, midfielder Benjamin Krimashi scored from close range in the 59th minute, putting Miami up 3-2. Messi then found the back of the net in the 78th minute, before scoring again just 2 minutes later to make it 5-2. His third came in the 89th minute, giving him his first MLS hat-trick. Inter Miami ended their season with both Suarez and Messi scoring, making MLS history, while also being announced as hosts for the opening game of the 2025 Club World Cup. Horror accident leaves one dead. The details when we come back.
Hello, apa khabar? Tengok buat apa tu? Hey, dah ready ke untuk generasi showdown?
Gang Boomers dah lama ready.
Alah, tanya Kak Jen why. We are ready when you are ready.
Cakap apa ni? Kita ni Gen Z tau. Mestilah kita orang terpaling ready. Dah lah, main nak buat live ni. Jumpa nanti.
Generasi Showdown, Gen yang real.
Dia nampak suspek menendang pintu bilik kemudian terus menikam.
Gara-gara cemburu, seorang remaja berusia 17 tahun cedera parah ditikam bertubi-tubi serta disimbah asid oleh seorang lelaki.
Saya sayang dia sampai akhir nyawa saya.
Setiap kejayaan bermula dengan impian yang kecil.
Jadi tak salah kalau nak berangan.
Lapar, tapi tak ada selera nak makan.
Asam picit, kerabu kerang, sambal belacan, menu pembuka selera confirm tambah nasi.
Manusia tak ada siapa yang sempurna, apatah lagi dalam kehidupan berumah tangga.
Jadi jangan buka aib pasangan.
Fashion menentukan identiti kita.
Menarik tu, nantikan hari Khamis.
Rezeki dalam rumah tangga.
Datang dalam pelbagai cara.
Semuanya di WSI TV3.
Dan stream sekarang, ditonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Welcome back. Former Al-Arqam founder Asharis Muhammad's eldest daughter, Atiyah, identified the location where she claimed she was confined for more than 1 month. The location was at a settlement owned by Global Ikhwan Services and Business Holdings Sindian Berhad, GISB, in Kampung Batu Hampar in Perak. Atiyah arrived at the village with police at 2:30 p.m. and led them to the site where she was allegedly confined for a month. She and the officers spent about 30 minutes at the location before leaving. In an earlier report, Atiyah, aged 41, reported being locked on the same floor for a month by 4 male GISB members, who also restricted her phone access. She also alleged being forced to marry a GISB leader in Turkey before being brought back to Malaysia and detained at the Batu Hampar settlement. In a press conference held in Kuala Lumpur on Saturday, Atiyah detailed additional abuse during her time in GISB, accusing its leaders of controlling members through forced marriages and intimidation. Police confirmed launching a wrongful confinement investigation based on Atiyah's report. In Terengganu, a man was killed and his wife severely injured after the motorcycle they were riding on collided with a car at Jalan Kuala Terengganu, Kuantan, near Kampung Pulau Krengga in Marang. In the 11:30 a.m. incident on Sunday, the victim, 55-year-old Wahid Ngah, died at the scene. District Police Chief Deputy Superintendent Muhammad Razman Sitapa said the accident occurred when the victim and his wife, 50-year-old Sulawati Sulong, were travelling to Marang from Dungun. The victim is believed to have lost control of his motorcycle and crashed into a car which was turning to the right. Wahid died after suffering severe head injuries, while his wife also suffered injuries to the head and to her body. Both the victim's body and his wife were sent to the Sultanah Nur Zahir Hospital for post-mortem and treatment. The accident is being investigated under the Road Transport Act. Nightline draws to a close this time around. After almost 3 decades operating in Sri Pentas, Bandar Utama, the news operations of Media Prima Berhad will conclude at Sri Pentas. Look forward to a new chapter, a more dynamic version of Nightline from our new newsroom in Bangsar beginning October 22nd. I'm Liyana Hassanel alongside the rest of the Nightline team. Goodbye, Sri Pentas.